Hello student, in today's lecture we are going to study about the phylum Hemichordata, and in our last class we have already completed the general characteristic of phylum Hemichordata, its classification, and we have already studied one example, that is Balanoglossus. Okay, now we are going to see the affinities of Hemichordata. The taxonomic position of this hemichordates has been a subject of the discussion for several years. Okay, because what happened, this hemichordate is look like a worm-like in appearance. For example, you just recall the picture of the Balanoglossus, how it is. It is a worm-like, no, and it and they will be regarded as a, sometimes it has been placed into the minor phylum Nematines, or also as a annelids, because it is worm like in appearance. Okay, but what happened in the Muller, a scientist who named Muller, included it in the phylum Echinodermata. Why it has been placed it under the phylum Echinodermata? Because the presence of stomachord, like no, because the larval forms of the the hemichordates, and that is the larval forms of Balanoglossus is Tornaria, and the larval form of Echinoderm is the Bipinnaria larva, which will be resembles or appear similar, like in appearance. Okay, that's why he placed the hemichordates under the phylum Echinodermata. But Batson and Huxley, okay, uh, included it in the subphylum Hemichordate under the phylum Chordata. Okay, Chordata is the under the vertebrates, na? So why he had placed it? Because of the presence of a stomochord and other chordate characters. Hemichordates, as the name suggests, half chordate. Hemi means half and chordates means chord. Okay, so it refers to the half chordata. Okay, but after debating, going and doing various studies and all, now it has been placed under a different phylum, a individual phylum referred to as a phylum Hemichordate under invertebrates. Okay, and it is suggested that the Balanoglossus is a forerunner of the chordates. Hemichordates have affinities with nematines, annelids, echinoderms, and chordates. Okay, so first we will see the affinities of hemichordate with nematine. Okay, hemichordate resembles the nematines in the presence of long and worm-like body, presence of ciliated and the slimy skin, network of a nerve fibers, and also the presence of a straight alimentary canal. Okay, and it will be like they will be also shows a similarity with the nematines in the burrowing and the feeding habits. They will be having a proboscis of the proboscis of the nematines is compared with the proboscis of Balanoglossus. But what happens, the proboscis of the Balanoglossus um, is similar, but the proboscis of a nematine is protrusible. But here Balanoglossus does not have lateral nerve cord like the protrusible like nematine. Okay, and they also does not have a lateral nerve cord of a nematine. In this way, they are showing some like characters similar to the nematines. Okay, Nematins refers to as a proboscis worm, which are classified into minor phyla. Okay, but they differ from the hemichordates by in protrusible. Hemichordate does not have protrusible proboscis, and the presence of stomochord in a hemichordates, presence of dorsal tubular nerve cord, presence of gill slits, then the coelom. So hemichordate cannot be treated along with the nematins. Okay, the next affinities of um, hemichordate with the Phoronida. Phoronida is the worm-like tube-dwelling animal living in the bottom of a shallow seas. Okay, this is also a minor phyla, and then it will be having a paired sac given off from the stomach of the phoronids and are compared with the buccal diverticulum of the balanoglossus. Okay, under the affinities we are going to see the similarities plus dissimilarity also together. Okay, so this sac that has been given off from the stomach of the phoronids are compared with the buccal diverticulum of the balanoglossus. Okay, then the nervous system in both the group is intraepidermal in origin. Okay, then the power of regeneration in both the group is seen. Then the actinotroch larva of the Phoronus is similar to the Tornaria larva of the balanoglossus. So these are the similarities which have been observed between the minor phyla Phoronida and the phylum Hemichordata. Okay, but in spite of having this similarity, they differ from each other in the absence of gill slits. There has been absence of gill slits in a Phoronus. Okay, then the presence of lateral nerve cord in the Phoronus, which is not present in the uh, hemichordates. Then the formation of the coelom by splitting of the mesoderm in the Phoronus. Okay, thus the study of the development of the Phoronus by Selins Long came in 1909 convincingly provide that balanoglossus cannot be placed in the Phoronida. Okay, so another phylum to which the uh, phylum Hemichordata is compared or will be is showing the affinities is the minor phylum Pogonophora. This Pogonophora are the beard worm, so, and they are marine tube dwelling animals having a anteriorly one or more tentacular arms. The most striking similarity which have been seen between these two groups is the method of formation of mesoderm and the coelom. Okay, the mesoderm which is formed from the endoderm in the form of the hollow pouch which comes to life between the ectoderm and endoderm, and these cavities of the pouches form the coelom, and such animals are called as enterocoelomate since the mesoderm and the coelom arises from the gut. So this is the one of the important similarity which have been observed between the minor phylum Pogonophora with the phylum Hemichordata. Other similarities which were resemblance between the two groups are presence of protocoel with the external pore. Then the locomotion is carried by the the location of the gonads in the trunk Then the intraepidermal nervous system in both the group, transformation of the coelomic epithelium into the muscle fibers and connecting tissues. So these are the similarities which have been observed between the minor phylum Pogonophora and Hemichordata. The dissimilarities are: the central nervous system is located in a protosome of a Pogonophora and in moxome in Balanoglossus. The tentacular apparatus which is present in some hemichordate is of mesosomal, that is at the collar origin, while that of the Pogonophora is of the protosomal origin. Okay. The fact that only a few invertebrate groups are enterocoelomate suggests that Pogonophora appears to be a fairly closely related to the hemichordates. Okay. Then next is affinities of hemichordates with annelids. Hemichordates resembles the annelids with presence of a long and worm-like body. Then the presence of dorsal and ventral blood vessel, presence of straight alimentary canal, presence of Torinaria lava, which is similarity to Trochophore lava. At the same time, hemichordates will differ from the phylum Annelida in the hemichordates from Annelida is the body is not segmented. Like annelids will be having a segmented body, whereas in hemichordates the body is not segmented. The body is divided into proboscis, collar and trunk. The glomerulus is present, such like segmental nephridia are present, are absent. Okay. Then the double ventral nerve cord is also absent. Presence of stomach cord. Then the presence of gill slits. Presence of dorsal tubular nerve cord. Then the pericardium. Then the development of the Tornaria lava differed from the Trochophore lava. Plus, hemichordate cannot be included under the phylum Annelida because there has been many structures or the many modifications that have been observed in a phylum Annelids as compared to the hemichordates. Now we will see the affinities of hemichordates with Echinodermata. Okay. First we will see the similarities. The presence of network of nerve fibers. Basically, there is no much similarities between the adults of echinoderms or the Balanoglossus are seen except in the presence of intraepidermal nerve system. That is, presence of network of nerve fibers is same. Similarly, plus the most similarity has been observed between the larval forms of the phylum Echinoderms plus phylum Hemichordata. But few the origin of the coelom is similar in both hemichordates and echinoderms. Now the Tornaria lava of the Balanoglossus and the Bipinnaria lava of the echinoderms are similar in many respects. Like they will be having, both will be having an oval transparent body. Both have a similar ciliated bends, apical cilia, curved alimentary canal with the ventral mouth and coelom. Both hemichordates and the echinoderms will be having a common habits and will be possess a great power of regeneration. Even this even a serological test, that is a blood relationship between the Balanoglossus and echinoderms, shows that they are in very closely related. Biochemical study reveals that the presence of the both phosphocreatine and that is a chordate energy compound, and the phosphoarginine, a non-chordate energy compound, are found. Okay. Thus the above resemblance indicates that there has been a close relationship between the hemichordates and echinoderms, but at the same time hemichordates have some chordate characters and it differs from the echinoderm with respect to some dissimilarities, like um, in echinoderms, and the absence of apical plate with the eye spot cilia in the echinodermal larvae. Okay, then the protocell is paired in the echinoderm larvae, whereas it is unpaired in the Tornaria larva of the hemichordata. So it is likeness between the larval form of these two groups suggests strongly that affinity between them and their origin from their common ancestor. So there has been an origin form, hemichordates and echinoderm is common. Okay, and they must have been evolved along different lines in response to the different mode of life, and this lead to the a new different um, different species. Okay, then the as I already said that uh, there has been close resemblance between hemichordates and echinoderm, but at the same time hemichordates have some chordate characters. So now we will see about the chordate characters. Hemichordate resembles other chordates in the in the presence of a gill slit. Second is the stomochord, that is comparable to the notochord, that is presence of notochord. Then the third is the presence of dorsal tubular nerve cord. So this is about the three important characters which resembles between the chordates and the non-chordates and the hemichordates. Okay, but however, chordates differ from the chordates in respect to the gill slits which are present in the hemichordates are not lateral in position. Moreover, they do not belong to the pharyngeal region. The next important character, which is presence of a stomochord or notochord. The stomochord is not a true notochord in a hemichordate, and hence it is attached to the buccal cavity. It is homologous to the pituitary gland. The stomochord is either homologous nor analogous in the notochord. The notochord of the chordate originate from the mesoderm, but stomochord of the Balanoglossus develop from the endoderm. Okay, this is the major difference that has been observed between chordate and hemichordate. The dorsal tubular nerve cord is confined to the collar region only. Moreover, there has been a ventral nerve cord present like a invertebrate. Then also the presence of a single layered epidermis Then the absence of cephalization, metamerism, paired appendages, tail, exoskeleton, presence of red blood cells, corpuscles, and hemoglobin. These all are absent in hemichordates. Then presence of numerous gonads. Then presence of dorsal heart. The presence of dorsal and vessel, ventral blood vessel. These are the all differences or dissimilarities between the hemichordates and chordate. With this, students, we have completed the whole portion of paper 1, that is the diversity of a higher non-chordate. If you have any question regarding this topic, then please let me know. If you need some notes also, the photocopies of the textbook, then please also contact me. Okay, and thank you.